There are only a few hours left on the current 100% gear removal cost reduction event. I'm going to try to use the last few hours to their best effect here on my 2025 Hell Hades free-to-play challenge account. Now, whether you see this video before or after this event ends, you also have access to free gear removal cost coupons that come from the city of Centranos. So whether you are waiting for an event like this or you're using a coupon, there are a lot of ways you can get value out of this free gear removal in places like faction crypts, Doom Tower, City of Centranos, and even some other places. So that's what we're going to explore in today's video. I am Colred. This is Colred Plays Raid Shadow Legends free-to-play challenge. Let's get started. Just a quick reminder that my next Takeover Tuesday live stream goes up at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, February 25th. While you're here, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and consider joining our Discord community. Thanks so much for your support, and I hope to see you on Tuesday. I'm going to start with faction crypts. This is probably where most of my focus is going to be, but the principles we use here would also be true for Doom Tower or the Cursed City of Centranos. Now, the Sacred Order is the one faction that I have pushed the most. That is because both my starter and Alice, the free login champion, are in this faction, and so I've been able to push this pretty far, but I still want to be able to farm this consistently, and if I can get some more stars, I will try to do so. And then in the Barbarian crypt, this is actually where I think the gear removal is going to benefit me the most, because I've collected a bunch of level 40s here in the Barbarian faction. I have High Katoon at 40. You can see I have 2 uncommons that I've built. I've been using them as my faction crypt champions. I did pick up Ina a little bit ago, like a few weeks ago, and I have her in some lifesteal gear, but it's not great. And then here I do have a War Maiden, but I actually recently just picked up, I don't even remember this champion's name, but she is a reviver here in the faction crypts. She's actually got a slightly better speed aura as well. Tashada, I think her name is. So we're going to try to use the gear that we have on our best champions. We're going to put it on these barbarians, and we're going to see how far we can actually push this Barbarian crypt. I'm hoping to get to 13 if I can. Might not be able to, but even if I could get to 11 or 12 and get some more of these epic materials, that's going to help me forge more good perception and resilience gear in the forge. Additionally, if I can pick up some stars for the challenge, that's not a bad thing either. So why don't we start with the Barbarian crypt? And I'm just going to jump in here to stage 10. Now, I could definitely keep War Maiden and use her for that decreased defense, but then I would have to pull somebody else. I would have to pull somebody else in order to bring in Tashada or whatever her name is to have a reviver. And I definitely want to have a reviver. So let's go look at our champions that are available here. I love the fact that they finally changed this. They used to do this only for Centranos now, but they're doing it for secret rooms and faction crypts, which is great, where when you hit the champions tab, only qualified champions show up in your roster, which is really nice. So let's go ahead and look at, yep, it is Tashada. Let's just see where does she get when she gets ascended. So this is the 3 times we get a stronger weaken here. So Tashada being our reviver, it's most important that she be as tanky as possible. So I'm going to, first of all, let's check HP totals. She has a pretty good HP total. So High Katoon 8310, Ina 8310, Tashada 8310. So they're all about the same. I mean, they're all exactly the same. So let's go ahead and put Tashada in one of my global presets. So I have several global presets here that I swap around for faction crypts and Doom Tower and stuff like that. I'm going to put her in the bolster set. Let's look at that at first, and then I'm going to compare it to the shield set. So the shield set is a little bit tankier, but it's also a little bit slower, but they're pretty close. Let's go ahead and put her in the bolster set because as the reviver, I want her to have that regen, and I think that's going to help me potentially 3-star a lot of this stuff. Now, in addition, let's just look at her kit. Do we need accuracy? We need accuracy for that weaken. So potentially, let's go ahead and put the pinpoint ring on her. Let's upgrade this to 8. Maybe we get defense. Okay, nice. One of each is fine. Go ahead and drop that in there. Now you can see most of this stuff isn't, glyphed out, or some of it's not maxed out, and that's okay. If I need to, I could always do that. I have a little bit of silver, but I'm trying to just do this efficiently and as efficiently as possible. Now, I do have High Katoon in a decent set here. She's running at 205 speed. You can see that. But I might actually have a faster set. So let me, first of all, just see if she has a preset. Does she have a preset? Yeah, so I want to save her preset because I'm going to change her gear, but then I want to put it back on her later. So let's see if this is any faster. That's not faster. I don't think this would be faster. Yeah, so it doesn't look like I have a faster set, although I might be able to construct one. But I actually think where she's running is probably fine. So I'm going to leave her be for now. Then let's go and look at Ina. Ina is in, you can see she's in lifesteal, but I have a much better lifesteal on Athel. Now, I have Zephyr Sniper here, and she's in a decently fast and decently tanky build, but I actually think I want to try something completely different here. I put together a stun set just recently. Let's do this, see if this helps me not have to bounce around screen. So I put this for Crypt King Grawl here. I put a stun set together just because I happen to have one, and he's got a couple of AoEs, and I thought that would be kind of fun, but I'm just leveling him right now. He's not going to live in this set, so I might actually take this set off of him before the event ends, just so I can get it off him for free, because it's a lot of 5 and 6, a lot of 5-star gear. There's a 6-star piece as well. Again, preset manager, use that global preset that we just did. This is going to speed her up. It will make her a little bit less tanky in terms of defense, but that's okay. We're going to get her in that stun set, and then let's go ahead and get her a ring. I'm going to put her in a revenge ring, which is a really good option for somebody in a stun set who has an AoE A1. That's what she has, AoE A1. Put her in a stun set so she does good AoE stuns, and then on top of that, if she gets hit and she actually uses her revenge, it's only 5%. If she uses her counterattack, you've got a chance to get more stuns out there as well. And, she's also going to provide a little bit of additional survivability to the team. So I think these are the 5 I'm going to run with, and I'm going to remove War Maiden from this team. So I still have the decreased defense and the weaken. Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to need her, and I'm going to have a different lead here. So this is going to be my stage 10. Let's go ahead and see how this runs on full auto. And again, I don't have a ton of time here because I still need to get to the Sacred Order, so we'll see how far we can push this pretty easily. There's going to be some RNG involved when you have a stun set, so if I get a bad run, I can always, kind of pull back and try again from the beginning. See, that was a mistake. But the bolster set should give me a lot of room for error, hopefully. I can also target champions if I want, like Allure here. Tashada's revive was very useful, brought back my High Katoon. I was able to keep her alive for a lot longer this time around, and that definitely helped. And actually, Tashada hits decently hard as well, which is kind of nice. I didn't expect that at all. But she's hitting as hard as Ina at this point, which is a little bit surprising. But there we go, 3 stars on stage 10. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to try to push as fast as I can, see if I can get more stars, more stages, more epic materials, and then we're going to swap over to Sacred Order. Okay, I am up to stage 13. This was my target, and I'll show you that I do have 3 stars all the way up. I've had to manual. You can see how long the runs have been, 4.5 minutes, 6 minutes. I'm just going to go ahead and click this on full auto, and you can see some of the things that I've been seeing. First of all, affinity really seems to matter. Obviously I have a spread of affinity here, but I do have 3 Spirit Affinity champions, so that's a little bit rough going into Magic Affinity enemies. However, the nice thing about the stun set is that the stun set doesn't care about affinity. It's just a flat % chance. I do think perhaps a provoke set on Shield Guard could also be really nice here. He's in lifesteal, which means he's nice and healthy. But with the revivers, I'm not really having trouble with like my life totals, my health totals. I'm having more of an issue with doing a lot of damage and controlling the waves at the same time. So there's a lot of RNG with the stun set. I'm relying on my revive quite a bit. So I think a second crowd control set, maybe a provoke set or a second stun set, even a daze set. I do have a decent daze set. That might be good on shield guard because he has an AoE. Remember, if you're going to put him in a set, you still want it with 100% crit rate because he gets turn meter fill for every crit that he lands. So I do think that potentially I could clear this stage 13, which would give me access to the legendary materials, maybe. And I'm doing all of this with 4 level 40 champions. And it's all because of the gear removal, right? Putting these champions in the best gear that I have on my account allows me to really ramp up the power. And then I'm leveraging a relatively good team. Again, you could use War Maiden in place of, say, Ina. I think that would actually be even better. Ina's not doing very much for this team. I think that the powerhouses are actually the uncommons and then the reviver. High Katoon, of course, is a powerhouse. She's the engine that keeps the whole team moving. But I think Ina's the most easily replaced champion here. She's not really doing a ton for me, although she's not bad. She is bringing some decent debuffs, and she hits decently hard here. And hopefully, with the revives, I can clear this stage. Now, quick note: nobody here is, at least none of the epics are booked. Right? Nobody has masteries. The 2 uncommons are fully booked. I've used copies of them to get them fully booked. That's a relatively cheap thing to do. And they're doing great here at level 40. I'm really, really happy with the value that I'm getting out of level 40 uncommon champions here in faction crypts. Now, they both have their own decent sets. You know, I did put the stun set. I swapped the stun set onto the archer here. I've already Zephyr Sniper. But in her regular set, in the sets that I already had her in, I was farming like stage 8, no problem, basically with just the 2 of them and High Katoon. So actually, I got Ina relatively early. I think I was doing it before I got High Katoon, and then I got High Katoon, and now it's been even easier. So again, you know, these faction crypts are a great place to get that high-level gear. So if the gear on your account is the bottleneck, think about ways to get further in your faction crypts. Get at least access to that 5-star gear, if not the 5 and 6-star gear. And you don't have to invest a ton. You don't need a legendary. You don't need anybody at 5 stars or 6 stars. You just need a well-built team with some decent gear on them that makes sense for the team composition. You've got some AoE champions. Think about stun sets. Think about provoke sets. You get a reviver. That's awesome. That's going to help you 3-star all the way up. Speed is the universal multiplier. It's the best stat in the entire game. So that speed boost, everybody has High Katoon, 30 days in. So you should do well in Barbarians, even if all you have is High Katoon and War Maiden, and then these 2 uncommons. That's going to do a lot of work with them just at level 40. So I just wanted to show you here that we're going to get stage 13 done. And then I've only got about 35 minutes to get the Sacred Order. I don't think I'm going to be able to push Sacred Order quite as far in terms of new stars and new stages, but I do hope that I can still get maybe a couple more stages and be able to get some good legendary forged materials. That's really what I'm hoping for today, because Sacred Order that's my best faction by far. Probably yours too, since everybody has Alice. But okay, so here we go. That's awesome. So unfortunately, I keep getting will stones. I'm not getting the bloodstones that I need for perception gear. I will have to come back and, do this a couple of times. I would love to get stage 14 down. Maybe I will try that once after the video is over, because I really don't have time. But if I could get that epic skill tome, that would be huge. But again, here at stage 13, this is where you get access to those legendary materials. So 13 is really, really important. And as you can see, I was able to push 10 more stars here with this free gear removal. Hey, that also got me an ancient shard. All right, now let's jump over to the Sacred Order. The Sacred Order is going to be a little bit different because this is already pretty much maxed out. Now, I used up whoever I had in this spot became a chicken. I don't remember who it was, but I've leveled up this guy. I think it's Castigator. Is that his name? Yeah, Castigator. So he has a provoke. He's got a decent heal with an extra turn, and he's an equalizer. So this is actually a pretty good faction crypt champion, and then he receives less damage from provoke targets. Now, he's only 30, so I could have leveled up Relic Keeper, but Relic Keeper is damage, and I've got plenty of damage with Alice and Athel, so I wanted a little bit more sturdiness. I didn't have enough time to get Castigator up to 40. I wish I had, like the Barbarian crypts. I think I'd be able to push further. But I also have an Armiger. You can see he's fully booked. So now let's go ahead and get some sets onto these champions. I'm going to stick with Alice in her normal set. You can see her build here. Decent crit damage, decent speed, pretty good numbers. You know, I'll show you her overall stats here. Pretty good early game Alice. I'm happy with this. The accuracy is nice and high too at 302. That's higher than we need. Now let's go ahead and get Athel's set back. So, okay, so that's a pretty good bit of damage right there. Now let's check out. Armiger's actually got okay. He's a little bit low on accuracy, but he's got the 100% crit rate he needs to land the decrease turn meter on his A1. I could probably put him in this. That would give him more accuracy. That's not bad. So let's go ahead and equip that. I think that's probably fine just the way it is. I could look at the presets, see if there's a preset that I think would help him. There's this one. That doesn't make as much sense. Okay. So I think he's in a good place. And then we just need Castigator. Let's go ahead and put him in the bolster set. At 40, he would be a lot better in the bolster set. But you can see, even at level 30, he's got a decent HP pool. It's probably, you know, I could put Anchorite in the bolster set. I could do that. But I was thinking about putting him in the stun set because he's got that AoE A1. So I was going to put him in this. He doesn't need accuracy for anything. That's a nice fast set too on him. So let's stick with that. We're going to go stun set. If we have to, we can swap him into the bolster set. And we'll see how this does. So now we are pushing stage 16. I'm not really worried about filling in these stars. If I had more time, maybe I would. But I'd rather push first. I want to push as high as possible. And then, and only then, would I consider going back for more stars. Stars are not the goal right now. Forged materials are. So let's see how we do. Looks like Alice is just going to crush this. So it's a matter of not having a reviver. I'm probably not going to get 3 stars because I don't have a reviver for this faction right now. And that's okay. We've got decent heals. You can see that. We've got 2 really good heals here, actually, from both Anchorite and Castigator. So yeah, I want to maybe manual those as we progress. That stun set did not land. That's unfortunate. But the lockout's really nice. That cooldown reduction. Hopefully we don't have to worry about Paragon locking us out, because that would be frustrating. There we go. He's down. We've got Grinner, who is a reviver, but we don't care about revives that much. I'm probably going to A1 cycle here. Oh, no, I guess not. We're just going to keep it on full auto. Hopefully we can get 3 stars. That would be fantastic. You can see I got 1 star on the previous stage because I didn't have all the gear to swap around and really optimize for these faction crypts. I think I've already done all my Doom Tower. I haven't quite unlocked Centranos. So I still have about 9.5 hours left on the free gear removal. So once the server resets, I will probably be focused on Doom Tower and Centranos after this. So let's go ahead and, that was the wrong target, but that's okay. See if we can kill a bunch of these. Let's do that. Nice big heal. Come on, stun set. There's 1 stun on the least dangerous champion, of course. Let's push back her turn meter. Sweet. And then we'll just... Yeah, you knew that was going to happen. Don't kill him. Don't you kill him. Let's heal him up. All right. Provoke her would be okay. No! He died. Oh, well. Okay, so no 3 stars here. I saw an opportunity. Like I said, I'm not worried about the stars so much as the forged materials, but I saw an opportunity to maybe get 3 stars. But with the time limit that I'm on, I'm not going to run this again. I'm just going to push on to the next stage and see if how many more I can do. And hopefully, I'd love to get some legendary forged materials. That's the whole reason I'm trying to do this in the first place. There we go. Bloodstones, Forge, that's what we wanted. We want those Bloodstones. It gets a little bit, hairy the further up you get. Obviously here, I'm not just running 40s, I'm running 360s, a 40 and a 30. So I do have more power here, but I'm also at a much higher stage, and we know how these faction crypts can get really tricky as we run up. So again, I'm going to just let this one run, and then I will catch you on the other side, and we'll talk about any other value we might be able to get in the next few hours before this free gear removal thing runs its course. You can see I'm already down to 3 champions, but I hope they're enough. I think they'll get the job done. Okay, this stage is done, and I just have a little bit of time, so I want to finish off the video, and then I've got to come back and farm these things. But I do want to talk about red dots, apparently. So I do want to talk about some other areas where you can get some value out of these last few hours of gear removal, or if you get a coupon, one of those areas is going to be Doom Tower. As you can see, I've already pushed my Doom Tower, but it can be really helpful in terms of getting past bosses. So if you need to re-gear, especially things like Blood Shield accessories for Scarab Boss, or if you need more regeneration for Bommel, or you need something that's squishier but also hits harder for Dark Fae. These are ways you can get value out of this gear removal. Also, all of these secret rooms, right? If you can do the secret rooms now, normally we would leave it for the end of the rotation, but you have an opportunity to potentially pick up a lot more resources here in the secret rooms in the last 8 or 9 hours of this free gear removal. So consider doing that. As far as the gear sets that you might want to think about, it's really useful, as you could see, to use global presets. Remember that when you have a champion that you want to strip gear off of, like if I wanted to strip the gear off of Alice here, I would go to the preset manager and I would save her preset first to the champion so that when I remove it, I can always put it back easily. And you want to make sure that you put your gear back before the cost reduction event ends. As far as the different pieces or sets that you could put here as global presets, you'll notice I have a bolster set, I have a shield set, I have some damage sets, some lifesteal sets, I have a stun set. If I had a provoke set, I would use that, or a cursed set. A relentless set is great to have as a global preset. You could have regen and immortal sets. Those are awesome as well. You could have a reflex set. There are all sorts of different utility sets or damage sets that you could put here. So realistically, you could have like 20, 30 sets here. They give you 50 presets. You could fill them all up. And that's going to allow you to just move things around very quickly and easily to get more value out of your champions. And the biggest thing, the most important thing, I think, out of all of this is really to show you what I was able to do here in the Barbarian crypts, because this kind of value you can actually get all across raid. You'll just get it everywhere, right? But I was able to push all the way up to stage 13 with only level 40 champions, with no masteries, and only books on the uncommons. That's crazy, right? If you have one decent level 50 here, you can even push potentially past that. I don't know that we could get past the next boss. I don't have the time this week to do it. I really want that epic tome, but I'm going to have to pass because I've got 25 minutes left and I need some forge materials. So that is it for today's video. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this. Have you discovered any other ways to use this gear removal freebie to your benefit? Share those in the comments so other members of the community can get those tips and hopefully improve their success rate here in Raid Shadow Legends. Thanks so much for hanging out today. I have been Colred. I will see you in another video soon.